Welcome back to Bending the Narrative. Each week, we dive into Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series. And while you can find our overall thoughts on the season in our very first episode, throughout book one, we've been discussing in further detail how each episode compares to its live action version. And while we spent a significant amount of time talking about the finale in our first episode, Kate, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on how Netflix adapted the finale after sitting with it for a few months?
I think the same thing you said on our last week episode. I,
We were
we
too
were
harsh a
really
little
harsh.
bit.
We were a little harsh. We were really harsh on it.
Yeah.
Rewatching it, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I remember. It was
They
actually
do it
pretty
pretty
okay.
they do it pretty beat for beat, I can't lie. Like
Yeah, and that's why it's good. I'm like, oh, okay, they kind of copied it almost exactly. So
mhm,
that's why I liked it and why it was good and why it worked. It was like
yeah.
storyline. This is good. Again, I watched it again, 1.5 times speed. That I it was just so slow. It was killing me. It was also late. I wanted to get done with it fast, but I was like, oh, that helps.
Yeah.
The
I
pacing.
think I will say I do think that while the Katara and Zuko fight in the live action one is still like solid, it's not the same as
It's
like
nothing. Yeah. It's
it's like we were
still
talking about
not.
last week with the Paku and Katara one. Like you just with all of the bending fights, you lose a lot of the like scale and like speed and just like it's not as dynamic or as cool. Like it's still a cool fight to see, but
Mhm.
it's not the same.
It's not as great. And I made notes too of everything that they changed and what they made different. A lot of things there's again a lot of things that I'm like, why? Why would you change that? You don't have to. They were saying
Mhm.
in the beginning it's just Aang that goes to fight the ships or one of the ships,
Yeah,
and then
he
we
like tells
start
them
off the
hold back.
episode with he tells them to hold back. We have Katara, Sokka, and Aang all together fighting the ships head on. And then when Zuko is underneath with Iroh brings up his son, and he's like, "You don't have to say it." Instead, in this one, Zuko brings up Lu Ten. He's like, "I know you lost your son, Lu Ten." Audience, if you didn't know about that, like
It's really weird for
you can
Zuko to be the
imply
one to bring
it.
that up. That's very like
Yeah,
not that's the wrong character to be doing that.
that's why I was like, that feels wrong, and why it literally could have been you could have done the exact scene. It works.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then Sokka is actually the one to lead the battle plans, and Han, like, cause they're going to him, and Sokka's like, okay, we should do this, we should do this. I do like a thing that they do where they go up to Aang and they're like, Avatar Aang, what should we do? How should we beat them? And Aang is like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to do this. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm just a kid, which I thought that was a good addition actually.
Yeah.
And then we have Zhao already has his hot air balloon from Omashu for this,
Mhm.
but actually, I don't think it
Because
was
that's how he
used.
gets
Oh,
into
it was
the
used. That's how he gets into this.
Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis. Which I thought that was a
Mhm.
good way to get there.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no mention of the grand plot line,
Oh
which
yeah, that thing is just dropped completely.
that's dropped completely. Which I get, like that. You don't really need that.
It's
You
yeah.
can get there other
I also
ways.
like I do think it's just like and I kind of felt this way in the animated thing too, where like it's a weird plot line that they put in there to just like make the connection between the two
You're
tribes
like,
and
how
also like
convenient.
tying Katara to like it's just a really like I mean it makes sense and it's like there's no problem with it obviously but it's like okay I like of course Paku was engaged to or betrothed to like Katara's grandmother I
Like,
suppose
I
sure
suppose, yeah.
it's one of
How
those things that
convenient.
oddly makes the like world feel like a little bit smaller, which the show's normally really good about not doing. Like
Not
normally it
doing
feels a lot. They do things
bigger.
that make it feel larger. Yeah, but it's like oh, well,
But I
everyone's
mean, I like the
related to
information that
everyone
Grand
somewhere
Grand
now. Apparently,
was. Yeah, I like that Grand Grand was in the Northern Water Tribe. I think that's interesting. That so technically, Kantara,
hmm
Sokka are part of that tribe.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but regardless,
Mm.
another thing that was different is Yue. Like Yue actually wants to fight. She wants to get in the battle, and she's like, "I need to help my
hmm
people." She wants to, but her dad is like, "No, you need to stay protected." And she's like, "Okay." Oh, and Han like doesn't actually like her.
Yeah.
Han like doesn't care. Han is like
Yeah, he's so
nice. Han
indifferent.
is cool.
Oh yeah, we have that weird moment where like he like does the kind of gross like
He's
you
like,
can
she's
have her
yours.
thing to Sokka.
She's all
Yeah, to
yours.
Sokka, where she's
Yeah.
like, that's not how that works, but sure, man. Like, I guess.
She wasn't yours. Yeah, it's kind of. And I like that UA in this one. UA broke off the engagement. I think we talked about this last week. UA breaks
Mhm.
off their engagement instead of it being that
They don't even address it. He just
they don't even address it.
is
Yeah,
never so seen again, and then she
he
dies, so
just
it doesn't matter.
dies. So interesting. Yeah, this is actually I think the first time we're like we kind of like some of the changes here
Yeah,
going on.
yeah,
And
which like that's
then
nice.
yeah, we get Zhao gets his info from a fire sage instead of the not the temple, the
in Earth Kingdom.
library. So this is why I
Yeah,
hint to I think they're not gonna get the library at all
yeah,
because they don't even. There's just some fire sage out there who I guess knows everything.
yeah. Anderson knows a lot.
Thank God.
Like he's the
How
lore guy.
convenient. He's the lore guy. Thank God they have him. And then we have and then there's a weird thing where Aang is talking to Karuk as instead of Roku to help with this battle, and Karuk is like, "Oh, I detect that my knife is near that Zhao has," and like Zhao needs this knife that Karuk had to kill the moon spirit.
Yeah, because we don't get Ko in this episode at all, correct?
Yeah, we
Which
don't.
is
No. We get a flashback. We get
okay.
We get like a
We
very
get
quick
the Karuk
flashback.
stuff. Okay, but it still bothers me that Karuk is in this
I
as
know.
opposed to it being Roku.
It
It's
is
just,
weird.
and I get it's because like Karuk is the one that's directly related to Ko and stuff, but it's like we don't need him yet.
I don't
It's
need
fine.
it. But it's
better
weird,
to
like it's just a weird thing, like his knife, I guess. I was like, well, that was a like an okay plot point, but it's weird that the spirit is like, I detect it is near.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my favorite, Momo fucking dies.
Yeah, for some reason they were
What?
like, "Hey, let's do that."
It's so weird. He literally
It's
jumps
such a
out
like
to save a girl, and they're like, no, I was laughing so hard. It's so funny. Why
it's such a
did
like
he kill the
comically
monkey?
like it's such a comically abrupt thing too. Like
It's so
I don't
weird.
understand.
Anyways, then we see the Spirit Oasis. I do love.
The set for the Spirit Oasis
Yeah.
is sick. It's really cool.
I do like that they make it like it's a big forest, and so the Water Tribe can get wood from there, or they can actually like use it as a spot, kind of, to maybe plant things. Like I like that they make it this larger thing, and that there's trees all around. They kind of have to go through the trees to find the center.
Yeah.
Because in the animation we just see it's a small little plot of land with some bamboo.
Yeah, it's they did a really good job with that set. I will give them
Yeah.
that. It looks really cool.
There you get these few things. We're being very generous today. Very, very generous. We also talk about that Zhao doesn't know what the spirits look like and makes Iroh help him because apparently it's kind of implied that Iroh knows what they look like already. Aang. Oh,
Makes
so
sense
Aang and
because
Zhao.
Iroh is him.
Yeah, because Iroh is him. T-shirts linked below, guys. Iroh is
Zhao.
him.
Zhao is him. Derogatory.
Derogatory on the back. That'd be so good. Little hat that says that. Some bumper stickers. Anyways, then we have Aang and Zhao talking about the fish together, and Zhao is like, "Oh, you could have." He says somewhere he's like, "You haven't been here all these time," and Aang is like, "Yeah, I forget what he says, but there's an interesting conversation there that we don't get them talking really at all in this episode because Aang is in the spirit world that whole time, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then by the time he comes back, Zhao's already done his stuff. Like he's like, no, don't do it. Like we need the fish or like the spirits because it'll throw everything out of balance. And then that's when Iroh shows up and is like, yeah, I'll beat your ass if you do.
I'll beat your ass tenfold. Love him. But then Aang says something cool where he's like, I couldn't save the world 100 years ago, so I'm going to save this one. I'm trying to make up for that. And then we have, another weird thing too. It's like Iroh is with Zuko the whole time. Like this thing is that Zuko does this on his own. This is Zuko's own doing. This is his, Iroh lets him go by himself and be like, he grows by this. On this trip, Iroh's with him every step of the way, kind of, almost.
Yeah.
Except for when he's underneath. We also have Zhao telling Zuko everything. And that we in the audience already know. This is at the end when they're fighting.
Because they love doing that.
because they love doing that. Yeah. Where he's like, oh, your sister and all this, and your dad thinks this. And by the way, audience and everybody else watching, this is what's actually going on with Zuko and his inner mind. Zuko's like, why? And weird. And then Iroh kills Zhao, not the moon spirit. Like
Yeah.
literally kills him. We see him burn him to a crisp and he falls off the bridge. We see his burnt body in there. And I was like, oh, okay. Raw. Raw. All right. Another thing that's different is, Katara tries to talk to Aang while he's in the Koi spirit thing, Koizilla. And that kind of like we see Katara actually do in the second episode when he has his freak out.
Panic attack. Yeah.
Panic attack, yeah. Katara does this talking down to him thing, and that kind of works, but he's not Aang.
You need him. He's Koizilla. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, let him be Koizilla. And then Han actually does die in this one.
Yeah, confirmed. Rip.
Confirmed. We see his face and the face of the other guy who Katara was supposed to be in charge of. She sends him to his death. Why do we make that a point? That's not right. And then Katara is gifted the Spirit Oasis water instead, because we see later it's kind of implied that she took a little bit or that she has it in that little pouch that she has. And then at the end of the episode, instead of teasing Azula, we already have had Azula this whole episode. We see her with.
We've had Azula this whole.
We've had Azula this whole fucking time doing why, what, just at home. But at the end, we see her. She's taken Omashu.
Yeah.
So.
Which it's wild that they like start there with her, like, because her arc now is starting there, really, because as you were just saying, the whole season she's just chilling at home next to the Fire Lord, essentially, which is like,
and it's like
what she's doing. That's why she's not in book one at all, because that's all she's doing. She's just at home with the Fire Lord. Like, she's not sent out to do anything yet. Like,
and we don't need to see that.
But then it is weird. It's a weird decision to have it where, like, when season 2 is going to start, she's going to have been taken, like, Omashu. Like, that's odd.
That's odd. Yeah, because she's supposed to go out and try
to find the Avatar.
Yeah, because Zuko's doing bad and everybody else is failing, and Zhao failed. So she's like, I guess Azula's going to be the only one who could do it. But I do hate, like, all those little scenes that we do get inserted of Azula and Fire Lord Ozai, because it makes them look like they don't do anything. It makes them look like that's all that they do is just stand at home, and it's like they're not imposing or menacing if we're
seeing them constantly do nothing.
Do nothing. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not scared of them as a villain. They don't.
And then, of course, you can't forget about our favorite post-credit scene.
Our favorite post-credit scene.
Where we finally get the ticking clock for the entire, like,
with
show.
The same fire sage who apparently just knows everything that's in Washington's library. This fire sage has the Library of Alexandria in his brain already downloaded.
Love that for him, honestly.
So we don't need.
Yeah, so he's the one who's telling Ozai he's like about Sozin's comment.
So now our characters don't need to figure anything out.
Yeah, but
they just get told it.
The funny thing is that, like, now Ozai has the ticking clock, but, like, the gang doesn't know that they're on a ticking clock yet.
Yeah. So how are they gonna? And, like, why do we need to see that? What is? You already teased Azula. Why do we need? I don't know. I don't get it. I am confusion.
Yeah, it just doesn't make a ton of sense, and we also, like, because we don't get I was gonna say the spirit world stuff is different too, because, like, the whole, like, Zuko in the blizzard with Aang and all that stuff is just not.
It's not in there at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they just stay in the main, like, section of the water.
Yeah. And Zuko's whole battle with Katara, that whole thing. Yeah, I it's a shame.
She's just, like, outside of the Oasis, essentially, right? They're like in a small room.
Yeah, they're in a small room. They get.
And, like, she beats him, which is cool, but, like,
easily, yeah.
It's not as cool.
There's, like, it's kind of not as cool. Yeah, it's pretty slow.
I will say, like, they did,
but there were some things that
they did a mostly good job of, like, just, like, beat for beat doing mostly beat for beat. Like, they just took the last 3 episodes and, like, made them the finale, which is good and works for the most part. They also do the red filter and they do the black and white filter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It looks bad both times.
This time, yeah, the red filter does look bad, and
it just doesn't translate. And also, like, I think we were talking about it. I don't remember if we talked about it during recording last week or before, but like, e- even though they do for like 75-80% of it transfer these episodes beat for beat, it works a lot better in animation because it just like it's just kind of goofy. Like it's a
It's
kind of goofy
goofy. Yeah.
thing that's going on, and like you can really like do that in animation and it's fine and
You
it
can't be
works and it
that
feels
serious about it.
natural, but like it just really doesn't, it just doesn't work. It doesn't play the same in live action like in any way. it's it's odd.
So
I will
sad.
say I love how hammed up as a villain Zhao is still in the finale. He's
He is.
great. I
He
love
actually,
how
that
just
actor,
like
he does a great job, especially with like
he's
line
the most
deliveries and
extra.
his, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like he's good. He crushes it. I'll give him that. But
And I do have
yeah,
to
it's just for
give
the most part things just don't.
maybe a controversial opinion, but I don't like the actor for Iroh in the live action. Like I
Really?
like him. I want to like him, but I think that they make him, it might be the directing. I don't know what it is, but it's just every line is so like, it's somebody, it sounds like a middle school production of Shakespeare. Like kids like don't really like, you know, when actors don't really know what they're saying, but they're saying the lines anyways, or it's just so
Mm,
foreign to them.
yeah,
Like all the dialogue, it might be the dialogue too. Like it's just all so,
tilted almost.
yeah, it's like a non-doctor trying to play a doctor on TV and say all of those terms. And
Mm,
I'm like, it just doesn't
yeah,
sound right coming out of his mouth, I
I like him
guess.
for the most part. I think
Mm.
the cast I think is overall pretty solid, even if
Yeah.
their like
Cast is pretty solid.
writing isn't the best. That's not their fault though. They can
That's
only
not
do
the,
so
yeah.
much.
That's like with the cast, that's where I give really easy on them because I'm like, they barely had anything to do with it. They just got
Yeah,
paid to say the lines and you do it too for a
yeah.
check, okay? I get
I'm sure
it.
that was a very nice check. Also,
That was
I'm
probably a
sure
very
live
nice
action.
check. You building up your resume. I would, hey, if I was casting that, I'd be like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I got cast in a hemorrhoid commercial, I'd be like, hell yeah, guys, check out my hemorrhoid commercial. Like, I'd be, yeah. As an actor, you get to that point where you're like, anything.
Yeah.
As long as I'm
Yeah.
booking.
No, the cast is good.
Cast
They're
is
solid.
good. They're solid.
Some
Finale, it's good. It's so good
it's
that it even makes the live action look good, you know?
yeah. It's pretty. They did a solid job. We were too harsh in our initial
We are
assessment.
going to, yeah,
I
we
will
are
cut
going
them
to
some
admit
slack.
we were thinking back on our original assessment. Yeah, we were a little,
We were so
we
hard
were
on
mean.
it.
We were mean.
It was just
I think it
it
was
was the
most,
overall feeling of not being happy with the show as a whole, and so
yeah, it
that
was like
really
those
like
middle
colored
episodes.
it.
The first couple of episodes, I was like, okay, I can do this. And then it was like the Spirited Away episode. And then it made me angry.
Don't even Spirited
Yeah.
Away. Get out of here.
And,
The audacity.
but these last two alone, standalone, without watching the other ones, I'm like, okay, it's fun. I'm entertained. Hey, Aspect listener, enjoying the show?
Then be sure to subscribe here on The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out more episodes and clips on our playlist here.
Thanks so much for watching, and
Lamio Hot Man.